There's a man orbiting your life right now who doesn't have good intentions. He smiles at you. He says the right words. He might even seem harmless, maybe even like an ally. But behind that disguise lies a strategy. There's a plan, and the ultimate goal is simple and brutal: to take from you something you built, something you earned, something that is rightfully yours. Now take a deep breath before continuing, because this is not light content. It's not a comforting message. It's a warning that your intuition has been whispering for weeks, but that you've been ignoring because you prefer to believe in the best of people. And that characteristic of yours, that kindness, that desire to see the good in everyone, is exactly what this man is using against you. He's getting closer, he's gaining ground, and when you finally wake up to reality, it might be too late. So listen to me very carefully now. This is not the time for you to be nice. This is not the time for you to give him another chance. This is not the time for you to try to understand his motivations or justify his behavior. This is a time for protection. This is a time for defense. This is a time for you to look reality in the eye and accept that not everyone who smiles at you wants what's best for you. And this particular man, he definitely doesn't. Because Taurus, you're not a victim, you're a target. And there's a difference. A victim is someone who suffers by chance. A target is someone specifically chosen because they have something the predator wants. And you have it. You've built something valuable. Be it a solid relationship, be it a hard-earned professional position, be it an impeccable reputation, be it even an inner peace you finally achieved after so much suffering. And this man saw it, he identified it, and he decided that it should be his. Now pay attention to the details, because it's in the details that the truth is hidden. Think about the last few weeks. Think about the dates, the conversations, the messages. Is there someone who appeared out of nowhere with a sudden interest in you? Someone who asks too many questions, who wants to know details about your life that are none of their business, who offers to help in ways you didn't ask for, who compliments you in a way that seems genuine but leaves a strange taste afterward? If the answer is yes to any of these questions, you already know who it is. And if you still haven't identified him, look at this description. He's charming. Very charming. He has this ability to make you feel special, seen, important. He knows exactly what to say to disarm your defenses. He's studied you. He's observed what makes you open up, what makes you trust him. And he's using that knowledge as a weapon. Because men like that don't act on impulse. They're calculating, they're patient. They know they can't simply take what they want. They need to make you give it to them voluntarily. And do you know what his main strategy is? He's positioning himself as your confidant, as that person you can trust when no one else understands. He listens to you, validates your feelings, agrees with your frustrations, and in the process, he creates a subtle emotional dependence. He makes you believe that he's essential in your life, that you need him. And when you finally believe it completely, when you let your guard down completely, that's when he acts. But what exactly does he want to get from you? Look, it could be many things, depending on the situation. If you're in a relationship, he might be interested in the person you're with, and he won't just come on too strong. He'll plant seeds of doubt. He'll make seemingly innocent comments about how you deserve more, about how your partner doesn't value you enough, about how he, in his place, would do everything differently. And slowly, very slowly, he'll try to create an opening, a crack through which he can enter. If it's at work, he might be eyeing your position, your projects, your recognition, and the strategy is similar. He approaches you as a mentor, as a partner, as someone wanting to help. But deep down, he's gathering information, understanding how you work, what your strategies are, who your contacts are. And when he has everything he needs, he'll use it against you. He'll take credit for what's yours. He'll subtly sabotage you. He'll make it seem like he's indispensable and you're replaceable. And if it's something deeper, more personal, like your peace, your emotional stability, your self-confidence, the betrayal is even more sinister. Because this type of man feeds on other people's energy. He takes pleasure in destabilizing solid people, in proving that he can make you doubt yourself, in destroying that peace you've spent years building. And he does this through psychological manipulation. Small criticisms disguised as concern, constant questioning of your decisions, subtle comparisons that make you feel inadequate. Now, I know what you're thinking. But if he's so bad, why didn't I realize it before? And here's the honest answer. Because you didn't want to see. Not out of stupidity, not out of naivete, but because seeing the truth about someone like that hurts. It means admitting you were deceived, that you trusted the wrong person, that you opened doors you should have kept closed. And Taurus, you hate admitting you were wrong. You hate the feeling of having been made a fool of, so you prefer to ignore the signs, minimize the strange behaviors, give it another chance. But every chance you give it is more ground you lose. Every time you close your eyes to something suspicious, it advances a little further. And the more time passes, the harder it becomes to reverse the damage. Because it has already infiltrated deeply into your life. It has already gained the trust of people around you. It has already positioned itself in such a way that if you confront it, you will seem like the crazy one, the paranoid one, the exaggerator. So what do you do now? First, stop doubting your intuition. That discomfort you feel isn't an accident. It's your protection system working. It's your soul screaming that something is wrong, and you need to listen. You need to honor that feeling instead of rationalizing it until it disappears. Because, Taurus, you have this tendency to want everything to make logical sense before acting. But some things you only understand later. Some things you need to feel first and understand later. Second, observe without confronting. Not yet, because if you come now accusing him, he'll deny everything. He'll turn the tables. He'll make you look irrational. Manipulators are masters at reversing situations. So first you gather evidence. You observe patterns, you document conversations, you pay attention to how he acts when he doesn't know you're watching, and when you have absolute certainty, then you act. Third, create distance. Start slowly. You don't need to cut off contact abruptly. That will only raise suspicions and make him change tactics. But you can start by not being so available, not responding so quickly, not sharing so much information, not seeking his opinion on important things. You will create a subtle but effective wall and observe how he reacts, because when you start to distance yourself, the manipulator goes into panic mode. He will intensify his efforts. He will be more charming. He will question why you are acting differently. He will try to make you feel guilty for creating distance. You owe him nothing. No explanations, no justifications, no second chances. If you feel something is wrong, that's reason enough to protect yourself. You don't need concrete proof. You don't need to catch him in the act. You don't need to wait for him to completely screw you over before reacting. Your intuition is sufficient evidence. Your discomfort is reason enough. Your inner peace is worth more than any relationship, professional or personal. A word of warning. When you finally distance yourself, when you finally cut off access, he won't accept it quietly. He will try to defame you. He will spread lies about you. He will try to turn people against you. He will make himself the victim and you the villain. And this will hurt you deeply, because you are someone who values your reputation, the way people see you, and seeing someone destroying your image with lies will be agonizing. But here's the truth that will save you. Those who truly know you, those who have truly had the time to see who you are, won't believe his lies. Will there be people who believe him? Yes, there always are. But those people weren't truly yours. They were acquaintances. They were superficial. And if they choose to believe a distorted version of you instead of defending who you really are, well, they did you a favor by revealing themselves. And you know what's ironic about all this? When you finally remove this man from your life, when you finally cut this toxic cord, you'll realize how much energy he was draining from you. You'll notice how everything seems lighter, clearer, more breathable. You'll wonder how you tolerated it for so long. You'll feel foolish for not acting sooner, but don't blame yourself. You acted when you needed to. You learned what you needed to learn, and now you are stronger, smarter, more protected. Now let me tell you what he truly fears, because every predator has a weakness, and his is exposure. He operates in the shadows, in subtlety, in the silent game of manipulation. But when you turn on the light, when you name what he's doing, when you verbalize his tactics, he loses power, because his game depends on you not realizing you're being played. It depends on you thinking it's all a coincidence, that you're exaggerating, that it's all in your head. So the most powerful weapon you have against him is awareness. It's about fully waking up to the dynamics. It's about clearly seeing what he's doing. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Once you identify the tactics, you don't fall for them anymore. And when he realizes you've woken up, that you're aware, that you're no longer playing his game, he'll look for another victim, because you're no longer an easy target. But there's a question I know is nagging at you. Why me? Why did he choose me? And the answer will surprise you. Because you are valuable. Because you built something admirable. Because you have a solidity that he never managed to have. And instead of doing the inner work of building his own life, he prefers to try to steal yours. It's easier, it's faster, and men like that always choose the easiest path. So in a way, this is almost a distorted compliment. You were chosen because you shine, because you have something genuine, something real, something that can't be faked or bought, and that bothers those who live on appearances. It bothers those who are empty inside, because next to you, their falseness becomes more obvious, and they need to either diminish you or destroy you to continue existing in their lie. Now comes the hard part. Look around. Who else has this man hurt? Because you can be sure you're not the first, nor will you be the last. Men like this have a pattern. They repeat the same behaviors with different people. And if you ask around, if you investigate a little, you'll find that other people have gone through the same thing you're going through with him. And maybe these people tried to warn you, but you didn't want to listen. Or maybe they didn't have the courage to speak up, but now you know. And with that knowledge comes responsibility. The responsibility is to protect oneself, first and foremost. But also, when it's safe to do so, to warn others, not out of revenge, not out of anger, but for collective protection. Because if you let him continue without consequences, he will do the same thing to someone else, and someone else, and someone else. And at some point, someone needs to say enough. Someone needs to expose the pattern. Someone needs to be brave enough to name the betrayal. Look, I understand there's fear involved in this. Fear of retaliation. Fear of being called dramatic. Fear of being wrong. But Taurus, you're not wrong. Your body doesn't lie. Your intuition doesn't fail. And if every cell in your being is screaming that something is wrong, it's because it is. So trust that. Trust yourself. Even if the whole world says otherwise, even if it seems convincing, even if the external evidence isn't obvious, trust your inner truth. There's another important point here. This man can have different faces depending on where you meet him. At work, he might be the super helpful colleague who always offers assistance. In the family, he might be that relative who meddles in your life under the guise of concern. In your social circle, he might be the new friend who quickly became too close. In love, he might be the one who appeared when you were vulnerable and presented himself as a savior, but the essence is always the same, someone with ulterior motives disguised as kindness. You, who are naturally confident, who like to believe in people, who don't nitpick, you're going to need to be more cautious, and that will change you. It will make you more protective of yourself, and some people will call that closing yourself off, but it's not. It's maturing. It's understanding that not everyone deserves total access to you. that some people need to earn your trust, not receive it for free. And here's something liberating. You don't need to be accessible to everyone. You don't need to be open with just anyone. You don't need to give second chances to those who didn't deserve even the first. That doesn't make you hard. That makes you wise. That makes you someone who values their own peace more than the approval of others. And there's immense power in that. Now breathe again with me, because I know all of this is heavy. I know it hurts to realize that someone saw you as a target instead of as a person. I know it's infuriating to discover that while you were being genuine, someone was being calculating. But you will overcome this. You will come out stronger. You will learn to identify these people from afar. You will develop such a precise radar that you will never let someone like that get close again. And when you look back in a few months, when this situation is just a memory, you'll be grateful. You'll be grateful for waking up in time, for trusting your intuition, for having the courage to protect yourself even when it seemed like overkill. Because the alternative, letting him take what's yours, destroy what you've built, steal your peace, that alternative would be devastating. And you don't deserve that. You deserve to be surrounded only by genuine people. By people who see you and respect you, by people who add to your life, not drain it. And do you know the biggest sign that you're dealing with this type of man? It's when you feel the need to constantly justify yourself, when you realize you're always explaining your choices, defending your decisions, proving your worth, because he's created an environment where nothing you do seems enough, where there's always a veiled criticism, a subtle comparison, a suggestion that you could do better. And that exhausts you. It makes you doubt yourself. It puts you in a position of always trying to prove something to him. But here's the liberating truth. You don't need to prove anything. Not to him, not to anyone. What you've built speaks for itself. Who you are speaks for itself. And if someone can't see that, the problem isn't you. It's their deliberate blindness. Because recognizing your worth would mean admitting that they don't have what it takes to achieve the same. And that's what their ego can't handle. There's still something you need to understand about the moment you finally expose him. It will be uncomfortable. It will seem like you're being cruel, that you're exaggerating, that you're unnecessarily destroying someone's image. And he will use that. He will play the misunderstood victim. He will cry injustice. He will gather people who will question why you are being so harsh. But stand your ground, because you are not destroying anyone. You are simply ceasing to support his lie. And if the truth destroys him, it's because he was built on lies from the beginning. And there's one last thing I need to tell you before you move on. This man has already lost. He doesn't know it yet, but he lost the moment you woke up. The moment you saw through the mask, the moment you decided to protect yourself, because his power always depended on your ignorance, on your good faith, on your reluctance to believe that someone could be so calculating. But now you know, and knowledge is power. Knowledge is protection. Knowledge is the difference between being caught off guard and being prepared. So Taurus, now that you know, now that you're aware, now that the light has been turned on, act. Not tomorrow, not later, now. Every hour that passes with this man having access to you is another hour of risk. It's more information he gathers. It's more proximity he gains. It's harder to get rid of him later, so start today, create distance, protect what is yours, and trust that you have all the strength you need to get through this and come out unscathed on the other side. Because you do. You always have. You just needed to remember. And if there's one thing this whole situation will teach you, it's exactly this. You are stronger, more intuitive, and more valuable than any betrayal can diminish. So tell me, after everything you've heard here, will you continue pretending not to see, or will you finally have the courage to protect what is yours?